This is the AMDM, your quick morning podcast full of Memphis news. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Today is Wednesday, July 15th. Only 120 social media influencers out of the millions who apply are chosen each year to participate in Streamer University, a multi-day boot camp for up-and-coming influencers. And Memphis Tigers softball player Tatum Biddick is one of them this year. Biddick was an Arlington High School softball standout before helping lead Henderson State with 30 stolen bases last year. She recently signed with the Memphis Tigers, and she's bringing social media star power with her. Biddick has more than 1 million followers combined on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, where she shares a combo of softball content and get ready with me videos. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is researching HIV treatment for those 16 and up. Researchers at the hospital are partnering with dozens of medical partners globally to discover how certain treatments work with 16 and 17-year-olds versus adults. About 4,500 participants ages 16 and up will be enrolled in the trial, which will run 2.5 years. Some participants will receive a study drug, a pill taken once a month, while others will take a once-a-day pill, commonly known as Truvada. Shelby County health officials have said in recent years that HIV cases locally are higher than the national average. For 15 to 19-year-olds, it is 4 times higher. Collierville's Board of Mayor and Aldermen has reappointed former town administrator James Llewellyn to the Memphis Light Gas and Water Board. The position now comes with voting privileges. A new Tennessee law allows MLGW to have 2 voting representatives from Memphis's largest suburbs, one from Collierville and another from Bartlett. Although it was an appointment by the Collierville mayor, the aldermen unanimously supported Llewellyn's appointment to a 3-year term. And now it's time for a look at one of the week's biggest stories with Mary Casciola. But stay with us after that for more of the day's news.
The Memphis Fire Department has a new way to handle emergency medical services. On a bike. MFD launched an emergency medical services bike team this week in conjunction with Victory Bicycle Studio. If you're thinking, wait, are those paramedics on bikes? The idea is that the bikes can easily navigate community events and crowded places where traditional vehicles can struggle. Today on the show, we've got Wallace Rogan, one of our summer journalism interns, to tell us all about it. I'm Mary Casciola. Wallace, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so before we get into what I think is really a fascinating topic, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you a Memphis native?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Memphis, lived here all my life. I went to high school at St. Mary's, and I absolutely love the city. I'm going to my 2nd year at Northwestern as a journalism major, and I'm really happy to be back here for the summer.
Awesome. Well, we hope we can lure you back to the city after you graduate. What made you want to be a journalist?
Well, I was involved a lot in high school journalism. Absolutely loved getting to talk to people and kind of learn other people's stories. And turning those around, and also writing is something I really enjoy, telling those stories to my community. I also think any community needs journalism to survive and kind of thrive, of course. And so I love being here specifically and seeing the impact journalism has on Memphis in a city that, I know so well.
Awesome. I love all that. Okay, so let's talk about EMTs on bikes. How did the project get started, and what's sort of the idea behind it?
Yeah, so 5 years ago, EMS Battalion Chief Lee Gregory wanted to start a bike team.
Okay.
After they saw a need after these big events like Memphis in May or Beale Street, or I guess it's River Beat now.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing those big events and seeing how paramedics struggle to kind of get and navigate those.
Right, I struggle to navigate those. I mean, they're so crowded.
No, exactly. And so they approached a local business, Victory Bicycle Studio, and their owner, Clark Butcher, about the concept, and they went from there. They spent 5 years, I guess, through budgeting and kind of fundraising, figuring all that out, and designing as well. There were a couple of delays, I think, with budgeting and whatever, but they kind of picked it up, ran with it, and then on Monday finally launched them, or kind of revealed them.
Okay, when I first heard about this, I was picturing some interesting things because I heard sort of like EMTs on bikes. In all honesty, I was like picturing stretchers behind a bike, like ski patrol style. Tell us about the team's equipment, because I get the sense it's not just like a regular bike.
Yeah, I also had some of the same questions because, there are things that an ambulance, of course, can do that a bike definitely could not.
Right.
And so I went down to, I guess, Victory Bicycle Studios to see the bikes, get Clark Butcher to kind of explain a little bit of the thought process behind it. And he was saying each of the design elements are pretty intentional. Of course, they're red, firefighters. Nice. Kind of a cool element. But what he pointed to as his favorite part were the tires.
Okay.
Because they have this extra layer of foam to kind of make sure they're puncture resistant. Because I think, on the field, if you get a flat tire, like you can't ride the bike anymore. And it's, it could be a life or death situation. And so they have really strong tires, detachable bags that can fit defibrillators and other first aid equipment. And so I think they serve a purpose to kind of get there first, and then they kind of assess the situation. There could be an ambulance on call nearby that they could transport somebody. But I think it was just to fill a need that ambulances can't fit in those highly crowded situations.
Right, definitely. I mean, I think about... especially in a situation where you need a defibrillator, like time is of the essence. If you can get a bike, and they have that equipment on the bike with them, which is sort of crazy anyway to think about, just because like there's so many things you need as an EMT that's really great. That's a good move.
And so right now they have 7 bikes. I think 3 are electric, 4 are just kind of regular.
Okay.
Which the electric bikes, I guess, will help them to get there even faster. But I talked to Lee Gregory, who kind of, led it all. And he was saying that he's going to kind of try it out, see how the community response is, and then potentially grow from there.
Right. So when can we expect to see the team on the streets or at Cooper Young or out and about?
Yeah. And so the firefighters have to first go through a training, learn how to use the bikes, learn how to respond to a scene, I guess, differently because they're on bikes. I also think Victory Bikes is going to give them a little onboarding session.
Oh, nice.
So they need to be trained, but the bikes are fully ready to go. So I guess when the next big event is. Yeah.
We'll see them. Okay. Awesome. So you've been here with us for a couple of weeks. What's your favorite story that you've done so far? Turning back to like a personal question. Has it been this one or was it another one?
This one was fun to do. But I also had a fun story. I went to Shelby Farms last week for like an open triathlon practice. There was just like hundreds of people out there kind of trying triathlon for the first time and talking to the organizers and talking to everybody. You could tell it was a very strong, tight-knit community who loved to do triathlons. And so I think it was just kind of great. It was a beautiful night. It was kind of great to kind of get out in Memphis and see what's happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that was a great story. That's a nice little thing where people were sort of dipping their toe into Hyde Lake, but also into triathlons for the first time, I guess.
Yeah, totally. It was super cool because I interviewed this kind of father-son pair, and it was a 5-year-old, and then the dad had done triathlons for many years. I think it was his 40th triathlon this year.
Okay.
And he was like introducing his 5-year-old son and getting to kind of see how they ran the race together. It was really fun.
Very nice. Well, Wallace, thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. So happy to be here.
More news is coming up right now.
Seafood could once again be served in One Beal's former Fancy's Fish House space. Sophia Surratt says Walt and Ricky's Seafood Kitchen could open as soon as September on the ground floor of the Landing Residences in downtown Memphis.
The full-service kitchen is expected to serve fresh Gulf seafood, feature a raw oyster bar, and offer handcrafted cocktails according to its website. The Walt and Ricky's menu includes raw and cooked oysters, crawfish etouffee, a $99 seafood tower, and caviar service. The riverfront space has sat vacant since Fancy's closed in late 2023. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Sophia Surratt.
Fogelman Properties has been expanding. Andy Ashby says the privately owned company has added 18 apartment properties with 5,200 units to the management side of its business so far this year, exceeding 35,000 units in 12 states.
The recent management growth includes 3 local properties, Cordova Creek Apartments, Enclave at Wolf Chase, and the Vineyards at Germantown. The company now manages more than 9,000 units in the Memphis area. Fogelman also has been expanding on the investment side during a challenging time with higher interest rates and less capital in the market. This helps the other side of their business because the company manages the properties it purchases. For the Daily Memphian, I'm Andy Ashby.
That's the AMDM for this Wednesday, July 15th. I'm Natalie Van Gundy. Find links to all of the stories mentioned in this episode in the podcast description. Listen and subscribe to this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or on the Daily Memphian's website. You can also hear us on WYXR 91.7, where our local news stories air every weekday throughout the day. And don't forget to subscribe to our other weekly podcasts hosted by your favorite reporters, including Sound Bites with Holly Whitfield, The Sidebar with Eric Barnes, and the Daily Memphian Grizzlies podcast with Drew Hill and Chris Harrington. You can also sign up for our breaking news alerts and our mini weekly newsletters we offer by visiting dailymemphian.com/email. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to start your day here again tomorrow.